I'm going to make him look like a child. Yes.
We'll find out.
We will find out, bitch. You're live.
Are we?
Oh, I just got the thing.
Welcome to Drinking Bros Sports Companion Show. We're going live on YouTube. If you have not subscribed to the YouTube show, well, you should. You're missing out on a lot of fun, a lot of love, and a lot of hugs. Would you say that's right, D'Anthony?
People don't know that right after every show and right before every show, you and I hug each other tightly for 30 seconds.
Yep. It's a full hold.
It's full frontal hugs,
very
too.
tight.
Yeah.
It's very tight. Before we went on air, you talked about beard or no beard, rape versus non-rape.
Yeah.
So I'm going to answer the question for the audience here because Dan wants to make himself look less rapeable.
I'm trying to not get raped.
Right. And I'm saying you need to keep the beard if you want that to happen.
Okay.
Without a beard, possibility of a rape.
And this is you speaking from your personal opinion.
Correct.
And what are you basing that on exactly?
I think
you just like a smooth face? Is that
no, not at all. I think a beard these days has become pretty tactical, right? As Matt says.
Yeah.
And so a lot of people, military, have beards. Same way if I see somebody with cauliflower ears, right? I know they're probably a MMA fighter or wrestler. So with beards, kind of big guy, some form of camo.
Yeah, but hipsters too, though. Hipsters have co-opted the beard, and they. I think Evan said this in one of the interviews he did with CBS or some shit. He was like, hipsters have the work clothes and the beard, but not the calluses. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which is a poignant statement, to say the least. So
it's pretty funny.
I don't know. When I see a hipster with a beard, I kind of want to rough him up a little bit.
Yeah, well, look, you can. I understand it because it's beards and flannels. I think the beards are more kempt. They're shinier.
Yeah, that's
I think
true,
you can go off the shininess of a beard. That's just my personal opinion.
Got it.
But I don't know these things. I want to hop into Kawhi, my man. He did it again, didn't he?
Kept the world waiting. He I don't know if he didn't care or if he got off on holding everybody up, but he fucked a couple people over.
Fucked a couple people over. He fucked over a lot of people.
A couple of franchises.
I was really shocked by this. And this bomb didn't come down till 1:30 in the morning?
Yeah, for some reason, I have no idea why they would wait until 1:30 in the morning.
I don't know. It seems weird to me unless you're trying to pull a fast one on people.
Yeah.
Jamie, email me that link to the video and I'll pop it out. I can't find it right now. We're going live on YouTube for our sports shows these days. We want to hear from you guys. With the Kawhi Leonard sitch, right? Here's how many people he fucked over, in my opinion.
Yeah.
First of all, Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis is number one because he physically cost him money. They could not complete that trade at midnight. Therefore, it cost Anthony Davis, I want to say around $2.5 million because he agreed to wait. He had a trade kicker, and he agreed to wait in order to try to get Kawhi. So first and foremost, Anthony Davis has probably got the most gripe of hey, bro, that hour and a half decision you made cost me an extra $2.5 million. Don't be a fucking dick. One, that was first. Second, I would probably say it's the Oklahoma Thunder. Because from all reports, he reached out to Durant first, Kevin Durant, asked him to join up. Kevin Durant was flattered and said, look, man, and Kevin Durant even said, I don't even really know him on a personal level.
Yeah.
But I was flattered that he reached out and called, and he goes, I genuinely considered it. So after he said no, around Wednesday, he went out to Paul George for the Thunder. Paul George infamously stayed on the Thunder.
Yeah.
Last year.
When he could have gotten the same money and a much better situation.
At the Lakers.
Yeah.
He could have gone to L.A. with LeBron and done that. He chose not to. Now I find it strange that he would go in and request a trade demand out of Oklahoma City to get to L.A. just on a different team with a different player as your star player. Yeah. Therefore,
it's hard to say whether. Well, go ahead.
That fucks over the Thunder.
Yeah.
And then going down the fuckery is Russell Westbrook.
Yeah, So that's the big question for me. Who got fucked harder? Not fucked, but who had the worst NBA free agency? Was it the New York Knicks or Russell Westbrook? I would say the Knicks because their franchise is kind of dicked for a while now.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Westbrook too, like it looks like he's probably gonna go to Miami, and play with Jimmy Butler.
Which is a situation I don't know how that works.
I don't know how it works either. They're both like amazing players, obviously.
Yes.
But there's nobody else there, and it doesn't. I don't know what their cap situation is going to be, but those are probably 2 max players. So
I think both of them are max, and look, they got rid of Whiteside.
Yeah.
So that's going to create a little bit of cap space, but both of those players are very similar. They like the ball, they like to shoot.
Yeah.
And they're both aggressive towards the hole. I don't know how that works for one another. Westbrook isn't a guy that can sit on the perimeter and just bomb threes. He's not that.
You wouldn't
accurate.
want him to. I think he shoots like 31%. But Butler is much more accurate from 3. But I don't know if that's not really his game either. Although we've seen teams with 2 penetrating guards before, like Jordan and Pippen, for example, were both guys that played that kind of style. Not that Pippen was a guard; he was a small forward, but they're wing players, which is what those 2 guys are going to be.
Yep.
Were both penetrators, and they had guys like Steve Kerr that could shoot the ball. So I don't know. We'll see how that roster shapes out. But I don't think there's any hope of him winning an NBA championship for the next 4 years.
You and I are both born penetrators as well.
Yes. Yeah.
And that's something we were blessed with. But I think that trade probably has to go down now.
It has to. Yeah. He's not staying in Oklahoma City.
But out of everybody in the league, besides Steph Curry, Russell Westbrook is the only one that has stayed and happily done so and said, hey, man, I'm not a fucking sellout.
Yeah.
I'm going to stay with this franchise. I don't give a shit if it's in Oklahoma City, and I'm going to try to make this work. Whereas everyone else left. James Harden wasn't his fault. He got traded, made the best out of a better situation in Houston. Some people say he wanted out of there. Look, as a 6-man coming off the bench, which he's a fucking, 2-time MVP and a superstar.
Yeah, he's not a 6-man.
He's not a 6-man.
No.
So,
but could you? I mean, I don't know why. To me, that was a failure of the Thunder's leadership not to see what he was developing into, that he shouldn't be a bench player. Like, there's no reason that the 3 of those guys couldn't play on the same court at the same time. The 3 of those guys being Westbrook, Harden, and Kevin Durant.
right.
That would have been a devastating lineup.
And
And that would have been a dynasty for years and years and years. Like, honestly.
I don't know, though, if they could have afforded them because I don't think that new cap kicked in until,
16?
a year or 2 after Harden left.
Yeah.
And that might have been part of the problem of like, hey, we just physically can't afford all 3 of these guys. But imagine the dominance that would have came. I mean, fuck.
It would have been something else, but it doesn't matter now. Now Oklahoma City's not going to have anyone except for a bunch of picks. So they're going to be good in like 6 or 7 years, probably, something like that.
Maybe
if the picks work out, right?
Yeah. And I mean, they're over the years.
Yeah.
I mean, you're looking at a good 5 to 6 year rebuild in a city that's got a small market. And, it kind of reminds me of Atlanta, the Atlanta Hawks. Look, they're in a large market and they're having a tough time with it. I mean, we're on year 3 or 4 of this. Trae Young, I think, is going to be amazing.
They signed Jabari Parker.
What's that?
They signed Jabari
Jabari Parker. That Porter kid is really good.
Yeah.
But they're nowhere close to competing for a title.
They're
right
a 40-win team, probably.
Yeah. And it's tough, man. I feel bad for those guys. I think the management will do Russell Westbrook right. And,
you would hope so because they fucked him over pretty hard, right? I mean, they got rid of the only guy. But
they did, but it wasn't, when a guy comes in and says, I want to be traded these days, a superstar, that's it. You got to be traded. You got to go.
If he doesn't have a no trade clause.
Yeah. If he does or he doesn't, but anybody who's unhappy, it's been proven over the last few years, they're gone. Homeboy, they didn't have to trade Unibrow. Yeah. Anthony Davis, but they did anyways. That caused a chain reaction. Then Jimmy Butler ends up going to Miami.
Yep.
I can't really figure that one out, to be honest with you.
Why he would go to Miami?
Yeah, and not re-sign with Philadelphia. Yeah.
That's a good question. There's some rumors out there about Jimmy Butler. I'll let you go search about those
sexually
on your own.
Sexually, they're out there.
Yeah, you can go find those out for yourself.
But it's strange. A team that was one shot away from playing in the Eastern Conference Finals. Mm-hmm. If Kawhi doesn't hit that shot, Philly's in there, right? That's a tough one to walk away from for them. Then they had to go and max out Ben Simmons after that.
Yeah, oh my God, dude. How do you max
all
out
of these
a guy?
moves? I mean, and I know we said this maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago. This was probably going to be the boringest time for free agents in the NBA history. Because we thought we knew where everybody was going after the Durant injury.
Yeah.
Holy shit, it was not, man.
No, it's crazy.
No one saw any of this coming. Not only we got it wrong, but every single announcer got it wrong. How about Jalen Rose?
He's the worst.
There is a 99% chance, that is what he said, that they re-sign with Toronto for a 2-year deal. That's what I'm telling you. That's my sources are telling me. Chris Broussard. It is Lakers done deal. He's signing. He even gave times out.
I kind of want to see
that Kawhi was going there. Like, Kawhi's going to sign at noon. Kawhi's going to sign at 6.
I hope when Kawhi retires, it's like that stupid fucking thing that Joaquin Phoenix did, where he pretended to be a rapper for a while and everybody thought he was going crazy,
right?
But really he was just trolling everybody. I hope he does like a tell-all where he's like, I've been fucking with you guys for years. And he doesn't even talk or laugh like that anymore. He's talking in like some kind of totally different voice.
Yeah.
And then he takes his mask off and he's not even Kawhi Leonard. He's some other guy. That's what I hope there's some deep conspiracy to his character. Because otherwise he's just a fucking asshole, to be honest.
Yeah, man. I don't know what his fucking story is. He's one of those guys where when he walks away, I think it's going to be like a Christian Okoye sitch, where you just never hear from him again and he walks off the face of the earth. So that's my personal opinion with Kawhi, that he's that weird that he'll just leave. Like Tim Duncan. Is he in the witness protection program?
No, he just kind of hangs out and hunts in South Texas.
And that's it.
Yeah. His what do you call it? His doctor, the former surgeon for the Spurs, is a surgeon with the VA, I think now. He's a prosthetics guy or some shit like that. So a lot of the guys talk to him from time to time.
Really?
Yeah.
He's disappeared on the face of the planet. I see Kawhi doing the same thing.
And I think his surgeon's son was a Marine sniper. I think Justin knew him.
Really?
Yeah, I think
That's
so.
Cool.
It's some kind of weird connection. Anyways.
Either way, look, LA is going to be the hot spot. The Staples Center is going to be the hot spot.
It's a basketball mecca. No one gives a fuck about somebody. I don't remember who said it. I think it wasn't Jalen Rose. Who was it? I can't remember who it was. Somebody on ESPN. But anyways, they said no one cares that it's Madison Square Garden anymore. Like, you got to put a good team on the court.
Oh, for the Knicks. Yeah, yes. The Knicks are out. Staples Center now has become the fucking mecca. The Knicks are out of it for years. They signed some European kid who lit it up in the second round for 30 points the other night, and they're hoping he can be their messiah. But it's a team. It almost feels like a D-League team, like a development league team that they're putting out there on the floor for the Knicks. And I don't know when that gets better. I don't know the free agents either for next year, where that's a possibility.
Yeah, I mean, they signed Julius Randle and R.J. Barrett. Who's this European?
And R.J. Barrett has been struggling in summer league.
Yeah, that's not a good sign, right?
No, not at all. Whereas Zion lit it up, earthquake happens, he gets a bruised knee, and then he's out for the summer league. Congratulations, we're shutting it down. Now that this is all shaken out, teams I'm looking forward to next year. Lakers with Kuzma, LeBron, and AD. That's a sexy fucking team.
Yeah, and then Rondo and a couple other guys are in there too, right?
Oh, yeah. Rondo. Oh, Boogie. Boogie Cousins signed there.
There you go.
Boogie Cousins is on there.
Who knows how this how it's going to look on the court? Because right now, ESPN's projecting that their lineup is LeBron at point guard, Danny Green at the 2, Kuzma at the 3, Davis at power forward, and Cousins at center. I don't know if that team can play together. Like, there's too much going on there.
I don't know, man.
Like, Kuzma's definitely the odd man out, but he and Danny Green both shoot the 3 pretty well.
Yeah.
Not great, but in the low to mid 30s, which is, I mean, they're going to get plenty of opportunities to shoot. They're going to be wide the fuck open quite a bit over the next couple of years.
Yeah, it's a fun team to watch. I will say this. If anybody can pull it together, it's probably LeBron, just simply because he's done it before with the Heat, with Bosch and those guys. He was still able to pull them to the finals in the first year. To me, because on mybookie.com, which is our chief sponsor, mybookie.com/drinking bros, they're building us a new URL, by the way, that's going to be sexier than ever, they said. That was their words.
That means they're going to replace all your photos with photos of me.
Or just my dick. Could just be all dick pics on
like
there when
bronzed,
you go to mybookie.com/drinking bros.
/bronze dick.
Yeah. Could be just my penis on there.
All right.
Doubles your deposit all the way from $100 to $3,000. If you're a Drinking Bro listener, and if you're a Drinking Bro listener and you're going on there looking at the odds, the Clippers are now favored on mybookie.com to win the championship after this free agency madness. What do you think of that?
I don't know. It seems like it should be the Lakers, doesn't it? Just based on the on-paper team.
On-paper team, I like defensively the Clippers a little more.
Yeah, defensively. But if Kawhi Leonard and Paul George aren't on the court, then who's scoring points for him?
Exactly.
As a matter of fact, if Kawhi Leonard's not on the court, who's scoring points for him? Because say what you want about PG, but as a single superstar on the court, he's not had great success.
Right.
Just scoring, making his own shots.
Yeah. And I agree. So right now, look, my money is probably on the Lakers. If I'm looking for dark horses to bet on, right? Utah's one of them.
Utah's good.
Big odds. If you're looking for big odds in a dark horse, Utah's one of them. And I'll still put Boston there as a sleeper with Kemba Walker.
Yeah.
I really like that young core and that nucleus where I just think you needed to get Kyrie out of there and his fucking flat earth theory out of there and get somebody in there with fucking heart.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not, because Kyrie's a gamer. He's the same way as Kemba at the end of games. They each want the last shot, and that's fine. I just think they needed a leader and somebody to rally around, rather than a guy who you're worried about whether they're going to re-sign.
Yeah.
You don't have that bullshit anymore. You don't have that cloud hanging over them. And if Gordon Hayward can come back from that injury, look, man, they could be a sleeper team.
They could be really
East.
good, yeah.
Yeah. Either way, this is going to be a really fucking fun NBA season coming up.
It's going to be it'll be interesting. I think it'll be disappointing the first month or so because these teams, and it happens like this, these teams that we expect to be so great haven't gelled yet, like these new combinations of teams.
Yep.
But give it until like December and shit will start clicking, and it'll be crazy as fuck after that.
Crazy as fuck after that. And the Pelicans.
Yeah.
After watching Zion rip the ball out of that guy's hands and dunk it through.
That's kind of embarrassing.
He might have been the one that caused the fucking earthquake.
Could have been, yeah.
That dunk into the floor afterwards was, he just manhandled that guy.
Yes.
What did he score, 9 points in 11 minutes?
11 and 9 minutes.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Watching them with J.J. Redick and those guys, like, dude, that's going to be a really fucking fun team to watch.
Shit, they have Ingram, Redick, Drew Holiday, who's a baller.
Yeah.
And then I don't think Lonzo Ball's even going to get any playing time here. That's the one thing that I worry about with New Orleans is fucking the Ball dad gonna be raising hell out there because his kid's playing 15 minutes a game.
I don't think the Ball dad will go to that small of a market. I
No?
really don't. No, and they've got the other kid playing in Australia. Did you see that?
Is he going to go there?
So I think because somebody's got to watch that kid.
Yeah,
Can't leave a
that's the
fucking-
one that stole shit in China that time, right?
No, it's the youngest one.
Oh, the youngest one. I see.
So the youngest one decided to skip college, not go and play 1 year, and instead he decided to go play in this Australian league. That it would be better for him pro wise, and he might be right. I have no idea.
It's
about
an
that.
interesting experiment. If it works, is at the end of college basketball because it's just going to be a bunch of fucking dudes that will never make the NBA playing against each other.
Yeah.
At that point.
So we'll see, but it's super fucking fascinating to find out. But I would imagine the dad's got to be over there with him because when the other two kids were in Lithuania,
Yes.
he was over there all the time, and he, because everybody was like, "Oh, he just went away." Well, he's got two other kids to watch, so I think he's probably got to go over and watch that other kid, and you won't hear from him. Not only that, New Orleans is the second smallest market in the NBA. So
I don't know, but it's not big.
No, not at all. He's going to have his fucking hands tied on that one. Let's get to the sponsor, shall we? Talked about MyBookie at the top. MyBookie.com/drinking bros is our chief sponsor for the entire year. Can't believe they signed up again, but they did.
Well, it's about to be that time of year again.
It is. And I told you about the Ohio State thing, right?
No.
They asked. They were like, "Hey, man, why don't you do the Ohio State bank again, same as last year?"
Yeah.
That was a brutal.
That's probably where they're making back most of their money that Drinking Bros are winning from them because what were they, like 5 and
7 or something like that. They were 2 games under against the spread. And look, a bunch of those games were down to the last second.
Yeah.
So I don't look. Full disclosure: we have a new quarterback this year. Mm-hmm. Him trying to get into a new system with a new coach. I don't know that I'm taking him up on that offer yet. I'll wait until August to make a decision. But we're gonna in the next upcoming weeks here. We're gonna have live odds for that of who we think is going to win the title. We'll do a college football preview, NFL preview. Something else they added to mybookie.com/Drinking Bros this year was a Sunday pick'em, which I really, really love. Yeah. So that way you can go on and bet all the games on the NFL, and then the top winning team wins the fucking quiche every week. And I think that thing, they're predicting it to get up to like, $1 million or whatever. That's going to get nasty.
There's a lot of people in there.
It's going to get nasty in there.
Yeah, well.
I have a feeling. But anyways, go on there. mybookie.com/Drinking Bros. $100 all the way to $3,000. Your deposits are automatically doubled. Use it for the year. We started our year betting on Clemson last year. And man,
it worked out pretty well.
Fucking amazing. Last year. Bet with us or against us. Next up is ghostbed.com/Drinking Bros. Did you have a nice sleep last night?
I did, yeah. I slept on a ghost bed.
Yeah, you did.
As I do every night.
Yeah.
I really, my sincere hope is that ghost bed gets big enough where they're just in all hotels. Because honestly, you can't get a better mattress for that price.
Correct.
Like, there's just no fucking way anybody is competing with them in quality versus cost. There's no way. So that's my sincere desire, so I don't ever have to go without one. Because I'm thinking about getting a jacket or something, some kind of sleeping, like maybe a sleeping bag made out of ghost bed material. Yeah. And I'll just travel with it.
Just keep laying it on down. If I could travel with the pillows, just separate cases for the pillows, that'd be good.
And as I descend into madness and eventually become a homeless drug addict, I'll have that.
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah, you'll have it all the time. And plus, you're military, so you get 15% off.
Do you get 15% off? You're not paying rent when you sleep on the ground outside of a bank?
No, you don't.
Come on, Ghostbed.
Yeah. Go to ghostbed.com/Drinking Bros for all your mattress needs. Again, if you're military or first responder, you get 15% off forever. Scroll to the bottom of the page. Click it. Get in on all the fucking deals. Pillows, mattresses, sheets, adjustable bases. If you're a regular human like myself, all their 4th of July deals are still going on, so capitalize on them now. And as always, at ghostbed.com/Drinking Bros, 36 months, no interest, pay as you go program. No one is offering that on the internet. Thank you, Ghostbed, man. I love those guys. Mm-hmm. Last but not least, boner pills. Roman ED.
Roman.
You took some over the weekend.
I just
for the 4th.
No, I'm on it all the time.
Is that real? You take it like every 3 days, right?
Give or take, yeah. It depends on what's going on in my life.
Or who's coming into town, right?
No.
What kind of bruiser you got coming in?
No, I'm just always ready.
Who's your big rig?
My big rig?
Yeah, who's your big rig coming into town this weekend?
This is not big rig.
Yeah?
What are you talking about?
Are you going to getroman.com/Drinking Bros and getting some boner pills for
I actually
big rig
do.
Coming in?
They send us free samples, but samples aren't enough for me. I need a full-time supply.
Yeah, you do.
So I do buy my own.
Yep.
But it's not just for one individual moment. You understand? I'm always ready because you never know when you're going to have to establish dominance.
Yep.
Or
man or woman.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Or just whip it out and let people see it. Whatever the case is, I want to be ready, no matter what. If door stopper, whatever.
For action.
Yes.
Yeah. A bunch of people hit us up last night, Drinking Bros, and they were like, "Dude, Roman's huge." They were on the Home Run Derby last night. Yes. Yeah. They're fucking everywhere right now.
Yes, somebody sent me a message like, I think you guys blew Roman up because I see them everywhere now. I'm like, yeah, I think you might be right.
Maybe.
I mean, Drinking Bros are a weird group of people, and I'm sure you're just mainlining this drug. And I support that.
No, they're incredible, and it gets shipped to your house in a discreet box. So you don't have to go to a fucking doctor. Like, what's the other boner pills?
Cialis,
Cialis.
yeah.
You got to go to a doctor and do all that bullshit, and then they got to prescribe it to you. And I don't know if you're like me. Like, I got to go to a doctor tomorrow. I've got a lady doctor. I don't want to tell her, hey, man, why don't you fucking slide me some
Your
boner pills?
endocrinologist is a female?
What's up?
Your endocrinologist is a female?
My gynecologist is, yes. I'm post now.
I see. So you're in the stirrups now.
Yeah, I'm post-op now. But no, I get a lady doctor, and I don't want to fucking deal with her.
That's weird that you have a female endocrinologist. Although I had one at the VA too, and I just whipped my dick out all the time.
Really?
Yeah.
Did she ask?
No, I mean I didn't. No. I didn't do it like that. It's just like every time I had to go in for any kind of thing, she's like, "Let me see that hog," and I'm like, "God damn, dude, again."
Yeah.
But now there's a framed picture of her with my hog in her office.
Oh, that's nice.
It's sweet.
That's nice. If you want a framed hog in someone else's office, go to GetRoman.com/Drinking Bros and get those boner pills. It's like 20% off.
Yeah.
All right, Dan. This is what you came for today.
Craig Dulesky just said that fucking that Iowa is going to win the Big Ten.
Not close. Not even close. And again, subscribe on YouTube because we're going to start answering your questions live on air at the end.
Yeah.
Do it. We got a new page. We've got a media company. So Ross Patterson Revolution and Drinking Bros Podcast are combined. Go to YouTube. We'll answer all your questions, answer all your shit. All right, D'Anthony. Women's team. This is what we came for here. Women's won the World Cup for the USA again.
Yeah, they dominated.
Dominated
Like every
the
single
entire
game
tournament.
they played was dominant. The only one that was really even close, I think, was the England game, maybe.
Yeah, England and Sweden.
Yeah,
Sweden's
but
always tough.
I didn't feel like I never felt like they were going to lose either one of those games, though.
I didn't either.
Like you know how in 16, 17, 18 those years you would watch the Warriors, and even if they were down, you're like, yeah, they're not going to lose. But I don't think the women's team trailed at any point in this whole time.
They didn't. They didn't at all. And for that reason, Dan, I'm saying pay them.
No.
Fucking pay them money. Our men's team has been shitty for 20 years.
It has, yeah.
Women's have absolutely dominated.
It's not the U.S. men's team versus the U.S. women's team getting paid. It's men's soccer players versus women's soccer players getting paid. So that discussion that U.S. TV ratings were high is of no consequence to this discussion. And here's why. You ready?
Fire away.
All right. So let me consult my notes here.
Yeah.
Okay. The Women's World Cup in 2015 generated $73 million for FIFA. $73 million.
Yep.
Okay. The 2018 Men's World Cup generated $6 billion. That with a B.
Yep.
Men got 7% of that revenue as prize money. And in the Women's World Cup, they got about 13%.
Okay.
So get fucked.
Okay.
If it's about ratings and money, and ratings isn't just about how many people watched from the U.S. on television. It's about everybody in the world who's buying their merchandise. And you have to think about yourself as a brand instead of, throwing a flag on the ground and pissing off half of your fucking audience like an asshole.
Hang on. Let's start with jersey sales.
Okay.
Who was the number one jersey sales for the last month? Men or women in any sport?
It's definitely women for the last month.
Yes.
But they judge these based on 4-year cycles, not based on right now.
But I think, me personally, here's why I'm saying pay them. I think they should base it on right now, what the ratings are, because that's what we base the pay off of. NBA, MLB.
Yeah.
That's what the salary cap is based on.
Well, yeah, it is and it isn't, right? It is because this is a contained unit in the NBA. It's all North America.
Sure.
This is a global sport, and the World Cup is a global event. So FIFA is a global organization, and they made $6 billion off the men, and they made $73 million off the women, and they're expected to make about $125 million off the women this time.
Right.
It's not even fucking close, man.
But where is the ad revenue going? Because if you looked at the numbers for the ratings, right, it was 22% higher. The women's World Cup finals was 22% higher than the men's.
So my expectation is that the women's are that all the TV ratings. That ad revenue, that FIFA gets a cut of it, obviously, because it's their content.
Right.
So even with those dominant, much higher ratings than the men's, they still aren't making a fucking tenth of what the men are making. Sorry. That's basic fucking math, homie.
If I'm the women, because they've got a lawsuit going right now.
Yeah.
And these ratings certainly fucking help. Because if you're looking at the numbers, it was about 22 million who watched, which is about the equivalent of the semis. I would say the second round for the NFL playoffs.
Yeah.
The only thing that's rated higher right now is obviously the Super Bowl and then the NFC and AFC championship at that point. If I'm the women, I go in there with those numbers. I take the ad revenue off of that and I say, fucking pay me based off of this. I don't give a shit what FIFA says for the world, because the problem with FIFA as a global organization, they're corrupt. They always have been for years and years and years. I mean, the Men's World Cup, I believe, in, 2022, is in Qatar.
Yeah.
Yeah. No reason that they should have ever got it. It's going to be, a million degrees. Didn't they agree to put it somewhere else? Or is that still shaking out there?
I don't know yet. I think people are protesting that. But, I mean, look, Brazil wasn't ready for it. Russia certainly wasn't ready.
Right.
Who knows, man?
So if I'm the women, I separate from FIFA, and I say, hey, if you want to televise this and put this on TV, I want a cut of that ad revenue because we're putting out a better product.
That's never going to happen. And frankly, while they may be putting out a better quality of product, they're not putting out a better product because they're not selling as much as the men are. They may be in U.S. TV markets, but again, this is not a U.S. organization. This is a global organization.
Right. But I'm saying I'd get out of that and demand a separate contract for U.S. only and U.S. ad revenue going in through these TV stations, because this is only going to grow.
It'll fail immediately
if they do that. Growing exponentially. I don't think it will, man. I saw the excitement around the country. I would say the last 3 World Cups for females, like, and you and I, because we're both diehard sports across the board. And anybody, like, cause some people say, oh, you don't cover this as much as this.
Yeah.
It depends on what's going on and why and what dominates the headlines and the news coverage. You and I went to a fucking bar to watch, who is it, France and Switzerland? I mean,
Yep.
I'm into U.S. women's soccer. And now, granted, that's the only sport I can say that about. So the WNBA, that product is nowhere close to the NBA.
Yeah.
Nothing you can do about
you're
that.
talking about the quality of the product, though. That's not what marketing is about.
It isn't. But it's about ratings and it's about numbers. And right now, the ratings are better than...
The ratings in the U.S. for television, which is part of the FIFA revenue, is still... I mean, I don't know what percentage, let's see. This year, they expect to make $130 million. And last year, the men made $6 billion.
Right.
Come on, man.
But the ratings were higher here.
It doesn't matter. The U.S. government isn't who's paying them, and it's not the TV companies here. It's FIFA that's paying this prize money.
Right, but I would split off. I would split off from FIFA and say, if you want us to be in here, we want to be paid.
They would have to get every other country to do that too, and that's just not going to happen, man.
I think as women, you could possibly do it. I mean, didn't the U.S. gymnastics team, they just split off from their union now?
That's not even close to the same thing, though. Like it's not even close because they don't make anything. These women are like going to make millions of dollars.
No, they're not.
I mean, the women at large are going to make millions of dollars. They're going to make 13% of 130 million this year.
I think it comes out to what, $234,000 is what they're going to walk away with after this.
Yeah, for 3 weeks of playing soccer, that's not bad.
Well, I mean, you got to train all the way going up for it.
But they get paid for that by the U.S. government.
And what's that salary, you think?
I have no idea. No idea. I doubt
if it's the U.S. government paying it.
It's probably like, I mean, if they're paying people to play professional sports, it's probably like 50, 60 grand maybe.
It's probably shitty.
Yeah.
So look, what I think is going to happen.
But all these women are also professional soccer players in professional leagues where they're making money for that too. So it's like, I don't feel that bad.
Well, that money's garbage pay. Because look, I can tell you the MLS, most of those contracts are about 50 to 60K, even for dudes.
Yeah, they're not much.
But those, again, that's not a sport that's for the dudes, right? In these cities, it's not a sport that people are clamoring to see every day.
Yeah.
But once every 4 years, I think these women can get fucking paid a shit ton of money for what they deserve. So,
well, maybe here's the problem. They're only making money in the United States for FIFA. Like so your argument, like if the argument becomes that FIFA needs to change how much they're paying women, then that changes all over the world, and that doesn't make sense for them.
But TV ratings wise, it does.
It doesn't. Not much.
They should be, in my opinion. You're bringing in 20 million views. I mean, fuck, dude. The ad rev on anybody else bringing in $20 million. The only comparison you have sports wise is the second round of the NFL playoffs.
Yeah. I wouldn't be opposed to the women's team negotiating their own sponsorships, for example, which they did with fucking Hulu.
Yeah.
I'm sure they made a fucking ton of money off that.
I think, look, it's all going to come out in this legal trial. So I'm interested to see what happens.
Yeah.
But
I wouldn't mind, like, so that's how you deal with disparity and impressions in marketing. Like, hey, you're part of a closed system, so we can't just fucking dump money towards everybody in here. But if you personally can make more money as a sponsor because you're generating all these TV impressions, put a fucking logo on your shirt. I don't care about that.
Yeah.
I have no problem with that. And give the women the fucking proceeds. Go ahead.
There we go. There's our answer, Dan.
It is, but it's not to just raise the prize money because these women aren't making shit.
So let's figure out a creative way behind it. If they're able to put the logos on, is FIFA allowed to touch that money would be my question.
No. And I don't think they should ever be allowed to be honest.
Because this happened in cycling as well with the Tour de France. Yeah. You had to put your team together. And I think when Uniball, Lance Armstrong was doing it. It's like the U.S.
Postal Service.
It was the U.S. Postal Service, and they spent a fuck ton of money on it. So I'm not opposed to that.
Is there any other sports league where the league itself gets a cut of the fucking ad revenue for player sponsorships? I don't think so.
What do you mean for player sponsorships? Like
LeBron James contract, the NBA doesn't get any of that with Nike. So why would a team contract under
They
FIFA?
do from Nike because Nike's got to pay them to license the NBA.
Well, that's between Nike and them, though. Like the money generated from the revenue are the impressions from them wearing something on their shirt or whatever the fuck it is. The FIFA should not be able to touch that. FIFA's going to have a huge problem with this, by the way. And
massive. Yeah.
It'll be super interesting to see how it shakes out in court because it depends on where the trial is held, too. If it's a federal court here in the United States, the U.S. women will probably win.
I think so.
But if it's like at The Hague or something like that in a neutral place, they're not going to win.
Yeah.
I don't think they'll win because one, FIFA can spend way more money than they can on attorneys and shit, and two, I don't think the numbers are in their favor. I don't think the women's national team, the numbers are in their favor.
You know what would be interesting is if the best team in the world just sat.
It would be, yeah. Sat
out and said, "Hey, we're not going to play." That would be like United States men not playing, for the Olympics.
In basketball, you mean?
Yeah. And just sat. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Next up, we got Coco Gauff at Wimbledon. She was lighting it up, 15 years old.
She was born in 2004.
Oh,
if that makes you feel like a giant old piece of shit.
Yeah.
And she whipped Venus Williams in the first round or second round?
First round. So I watched it. Yeah.
Too.
Straight sets. Venus is 39 years old. I can't remember a female tennis player playing to that age. Maybe Navratilova.
Maybe Graf. When did Steffi Graf?
I think she kicked out at like 36, 37. And Venus looked old and she looked slow.
Yeah. Well, she's got that blood issue too. So it's like
I wasn't terribly surprised at that. The fact that she was a wild card and was ranked 336 in the world.
Yeah,
was pretty crazy to gain entry.
It's weird that she was ranked that low. Honestly, I think it's just because of her age. Because she's the number one junior for years now, and she's won a junior Grand Slam as a matter of fact.
Yep,
like all four majors in the junior circuit. So it's like, I think it's one of those things where people just weren't paying attention.
The craziest thing about it to me is her composure on and off the court. Her interviews. It's as if she's been giving these press conferences for years.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah.
Where's she from?
Georgia originally.
What part of Georgia?
I'm not sure, but because I know they relocated to Florida to get her better coaches and trainers and all that stuff. Clearly it worked.
Yeah, fuck yeah, it worked. She's not just she didn't just take advantage of an older player in Venus Williams. She went to the fourth round. She was clearly better than most of the people in that tournament.
Oh yeah.
So it's going to be interesting to see how that happens. The last time we saw somebody that young in a sport like that, in a solitary sport, be that better than like competition or age was Tiger Woods probably when he was 17, right? When he first played that
Tiger, I remember Jennifer Capriati as a kid doing pretty well at 15 years old.
A long time ago.
Oh yeah,
that was like the 80s,
it's
right?
extremely rare.
Yeah.
And then you had a 20-year-old who just won over the weekend in golf.
Oh yeah. I don't remember that person's name.
How do you forget the Wolf, brother?
What's their last name?
Michael Wolf, I believe, is his name. Younger. These kids are getting younger and younger. It's because the parents start this shit off really early.
Yeah. Well, Tiger Woods' dad pretty much super glued a fucking golf club to his hands, right?
Yeah, and look, I coached my son's t-ball team like 2 years ago, at the age of 4, and I can tell you there was a couple dads out there who were convinced that their child was the next fucking Mike Trout.
Yeah.
And they were, the dad was dipping on the field like the other coach, and I was like, "Yo, man, we are not in the majors yet, hombre."
That's funny.
Yeah, telling people, where his kid preferred the ball and all that other shit. Like
in t-ball?
Oh yeah, it's gonna get. I'm telling you, it's only going to get worse. When you see 15-year-olds like this, then every parent automatically thinks their kid is the next coming of Christ.
I'm gonna start adopting people like The Blind Side, but kids who are like 15, 16 years old that actually are good. I'm just
bringing them into your home.
I'm just gonna start adopting people.
Yeah, look, you take that guy. Who's the guy in the summer league right now? Taco.
He's 7'7" or some shit.
Taco Charles.
Like there's a picture of him I saw yesterday, and he's standing with the ball in his hands at the rim, and his feet are flat on the ground,
dunking.
And he's dunking without jumping.
So I watched that summer league game, and I was like, Jesus Christ, what do you do against this?
Man,
Manute Bol was sort of like this, but this guy's
thick. Manute Bol was
his
he had those skinny legs.
Manute Bol weighed about 100 pounds. This guy didn't. And all I kept thinking was, who's the family that took him in? Because they're getting paid off of it. That's what you really want, D'Anthony.
He is a...
you want to go out and find yourself a little tiny blind side.
Or just start adopting other adults for no reason. Like I might adopt Jack Mandeville.
But what's Jack going to give you?
Nothing.
No. It's like
but
another dog.
I'm gonna dress him up like a baby.
It's like having another dog is what it's like having, Dan.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, he is Dog. He has a character called Dog.
Yeah.
He just rides Dog on his stomach.
Yeah.
So.
Big fan of Jack, and I think he can be bought, by the way.
Oh, yeah, he can be bought.
For the right price, he can be bought.
Yeah. His mom, Becky Mandeville, would be super upset that she's not his mother anymore.
Well, I think she'd get over it.
Yeah.
If she could visit him on the weekends, I think he'd be fine. But I think that enterprise that you mentioned would be a great one to start of, hey, man, let's start adopting kids who are going to be really good at sports.
Craig Dulesky says that there's an old Daniel Tosh joke where he says check their 40 time, make sure it's under 4.3 before they get in the car.
Oh, yeah. Well, who's that 16-year-old that just signed with the Yankees?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's supposed to be like a once-in-a-generation, blah, blah, blah.
Player, I saw him. I thought it was a 27-year-old man.
Yeah, he looks – well, see, I mean –
he looked like Aaron Judge already.
Did you ever hear about that theory that Albert Pujols is actually like 3 or 4 years older than what he says he is?
Yeah, I've heard that before.
He came over here at 22 or 23.
Yeah.
And that's why he was
he
had the best first 10 years of any player in Major League Baseball history. He had a 300 average, 30 home runs, 100 RBIs, 100 walk every single year for 10 years to start off his career. No one's ever done that before. I think Stan Musial was the only person that came close to that. So there's a theory out there that he was older, and now that's why he's been on such a rapid decline.
I have a different theory on Pujols. I think he was juicing the entire time, and then once it caught up to everybody, I think he stopped, and he had about a 2-year period where he was kind of shitty and was going through injuries because he didn't have that fucking that juice running through you, brother. That tap running through you, and I think it took him a while to get used to it. And then after that, he's been pretty goddamn good. Look, he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. For sure. What has he got? 637 home runs or something crazy. But
646 now.
Yeah. To that theory, though, they're again. I'm gonna switch this back to kids now.
Yep.
Even white American kids, they're calling it red shirting your children, where you hold them back from preschool to kindergarten, so that way they're 19 years old at the start of senior year, and you have that extra year of development, and that's a big thing right now, and they're trying to curb it at schools. And there was a parents that I ran into, because there was one kid on this t-ball team that was just a fucking monster. I mean, he double the size of my kid and everybody else's kid.
So you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah, and he was ripping balls.
Did he have that birth certificate like from the Benchwarmers where it's on crayon, I am 10?
Yeah. Well, look, his
It's
mom.
it's
Here's
a
the thing.
Polaroid staple to it.
Mom was white, dad was black. Mom
Yeah.
she was a taller woman. I would say she was probably about 5'10", right?
Kids are like that though. If they have one parent or
But here's the thing: the dad was 6'8".
Oh shit!
And he was close to 300 pounds, right? The mom said 280, but
That's
I'm
a big
going to
man.
tell you he was $3 bills. But the kid was so much bigger, so much better than everyone else.
Yeah.
And I mentioned to her, kind of jokingly, but not really jokingly.
Yeah.
I was like, "Hey, what do you think is going to happen with him? Because he's the best one out here, right?" I mean, and I'm one of those people who's honest about their children. Nobody else is, but I am. And I was like, "Look, I'm coaching this team. He's the best one out here. What do you guys think about what's going to happen with him?" And they were like, "Well, we were thinking about doing this, whatever." And I was like, "Hey, you ever think about holding him back?" And literally, the mom just looks at me. She stops and she goes, "Oh yeah, we've thought about holding him back." And I was like, "Holy shit! What stopped you?" And she said the school board went in and said, "No, you can't do this. We're having too many parents trying to do this." And we
Really?
don't. Yes.
Here in Wilmington.
In Wilmington.
So it's that pervasive.
It's that prevalent, yeah. So
Holy shit.
That in Los Angeles has a bad problem with it now.
Of course, LA, but you wouldn't
Because
expect
LA,
that to be
everybody
happening
thinks
here.
their kid is going to be a superstar in sports.
God, that is so fucking weird.
Yeah. So they call it redshirting your child. And that's what it is. So if Albert Pujols did this, it's not surprising because if you're trying to get somebody out of their country and sign a huge American contract for shit, I get it, man. I would do the same goddamn thing too.
Yeah.
And then because you look at last night's home run derby, which was one of the greatest things I've ever seen in my entire life, sports-wise.
Like there have been a bunch of good ones recently, but this one had the most people that were competing at a super high level, I think, of any in recent memory. Like,
Same.
It was Acuna was flipping shots over the wall. Obviously, Alonso won. Fucking Vlad Jr. was killing the ball. Fucking homeboy from the Dodgers.
Yep.
Was raking him. Jock Peterson. So, when's the last time we had four guys that had like amazing, record-breaking fucking home run derbies? I don't think we ever. I love this new format, by the way.
I do too.
I think it's perfect.
They've got the format dialed in, I think.
Although I would make the last
exciting
round,
to watch.
I would make the finals less than 4 minutes. I think they were too tired to be like.
But
although it
stamina-wise,
did make it interesting though.
Yeah, and what did Vlad Jr. have? 22 or
29?
No, but in the
22.
final, I think he still had 22 in the final, and Alonso went in there and beat him by one.
Yeah.
and walked off. But fuck, man, I like the fact that they added money to it this year too.
Yeah,
$1 million.
Do they do that for the dunk competition?
No, I think it's about $50,000.
They should make it like fucking $5 million.
Oh,
man.
dude, then you could get LeBron and all these fucking guys in there.
I don't know if LeBron would do it, but some guys would do it.
He wouldn't do it, and Mike Trout said he would never do the home run derby.
He says that, but a couple of people have a theory that if the All-Star game is in Philly in front of his home fans, that he'll do it there. They think there's a rumor that he's holding out until that happens.
Really?
Yeah. Which is fucking great.
It's in LA next year.
Yeah. He doesn't give a fuck about LA. That's just money.
Yeah, but
Philly's his home.
If it's in the Dodger Stadium, there is a chip on your shoulder of Dodgers versus Angels. Because let's face it, you've been there before. You've been to both ballparks.
Yep.
It's a Dodgers town. Anaheim's a fucking hike unless you live there.
I mean, it's like 22 miles away, but it takes 45.
We went to the Sweet 16 there, right across the street, the Honda Center.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Right across the street from the stadium. That was an hour and 40-minute drive in traffic.
Yeah, it was terrible.
People don't want to go to the fucking Angels games.
No.
You're always going to go to the Dodgers over the Angels. And let's face it, the Dodgers have had a better team. So part of me thinks because of that chip, he'll enter next year in LA and say, fuck you, I'm still the king of LA.
Maybe, but there's two guys, Bellinger and Peterson, who are legit like home run derby
I know.
potential champions.
Imagine Trout going up against them.
Trout and whom else?
Bellinger?
Yeah.
And
Peterson?
And Peterson.
They probably won't have two guys from the same team on. But that would be
it would be sexy, wouldn't
Yeah.
it? God damn, that would be fun.
I mean,
put Vlad Jr. in there
I think
as well?
Vlad Jr. is going to do it forever.
He might.
Until he gets to – he's already kind of soggy around the midsection. So
Yeah.
when he gets into his late 20s, I think he's going to start having the same kind of problems that Prince Fielder did. Because
I think so,
Prince
yeah.
Fielder was an elite hitter. He had 51 home runs one year.
Mm-hmm.
He was and when he was like 25, 26, it really clicked for him. He started
He was hitting 300 too. Like he
hitting
was
300, driving the ball, walking 100
Yeah.
times. He was a really good player. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, just injury. And you have to think that some of it was because he was carrying all that extra weight around.
Yeah, that weight catches up to you. It caught up to Big Panda too, Pablo Sandoval.
Oh yeah.
And
yeah, he's
and that caught him. That's the only thing I can see happening with Vlad Guerrero Jr.
Yeah.
Also, really shocked that he only speaks Spanish. After his dad
after
played
22
in the majors
years,
for 9,000 years.
His dad, I think Vlad played 17 years or something like that.
It was crazy,
like a long time. And the kid, you can see the kid. He was at every All-Star game, swinging bats and hanging out. So he was around. You would think he would learn English by accident after all that time. To be honest, like just pick stuff up. And I don't know if it's like he doesn't know it or if it's just a power play, or he might be one of those guys. Like I know Acuna he's 20 years old, but he speaks. From what my friends that have been around say, that he speaks English. He just feels uncomfortable with his level of English, so he doesn't do it on interviews and shit.
Yeah.
I get that, but after growing up here half of your time, 6 months out of the year, you would think that he would have on accident picked it up. But I can't speak Spanish, so what do I know? He could just be an idiot.
Yeah, but you're not playing professional ball down in Mexico.
No, I'm not.
So
although
you could be, Dan.
It probably could be. It's likely that he's just an idiot. Like he's just a meathead. He's like the Gronkowski of Major League Baseball from the DR basically.
He could be.
Yeah, he's just like, I just want to be a home run heater, man.
A little home run heater. All I want to be is a little home run heater. It felt weird seeing Big Papi not being there last night, and then I remembered. Oh wait, you banged a fucking drug lord's wife and got shot.
Yeah, well, they're saying that's not true now. But
they're still looking for the real killer. Like
it's like, come on, dude.
Like OJ.
Like all that information came out, and it's like, oh, it was a case of mistaken identity. No one in the DR is mistaken my good friend Big Papi for anyone else in that country ever. That'll never fucking happen. At any rate, Acuna is I got to tell you, in the later rounds you started seeing Alonso doing it too, but those guys have some of the best swings and most raw power of any two young guys I've ever seen since Trout came along.
Yeah, that was my biggest takeaway from the Home Run Derby last night was how
it was just those two guys.
Acuna looked.
Well, Alonso towards the end too, he started driving the ball to right center and center.
He did,
too.
but as an overall prospect for years and years to come, where I mean, you can see absolute greatness out of them.
Yeah,
the way that Acuna was able to just to flick his wrist to all fields, when he was going opposite field for every other home run,
just for the hell of it, yeah.
Just to do it, it seemed like almost like he was bored, and then he gave up at the end, where he was just like, "All right, cool, I'm tired out." And I wondered if in his mind he was just like, "All right, I'm not going to beat Vlad. I don't want to fuck up my swing. I did what I came here to do. I'm one of the best in the business, and that's it." He was the most impressive prospect for like a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, health and all that other stuff is going to come.
Yeah,
into play.
if you listen to the broadcast, the guys were saying, I think it was Teixeira. Somebody, Chipper Jones told Mark Teixeira that Acuna is the best hitter he's ever seen. Now that's a pretty big compliment from a guy that hit 440 fucking home runs from and was a switch hitter. He's one of the best hitters of his generation.
And is still a hitting coach.
Yeah,
like in the offseason,
Hall of Famer, yeah.
He'll still roll in there all the time.
Honestly, I'm super excited about him and Albies and all these young pitchers they have now, Fried and fucking Soroka and all those guys.
Braves look dynamite for the future.
I feel like if they can make a deal for a closer at the break, they have a legit chance to win the World Series. I don't think with the guy they have in there now.
I don't either.
At closer Jackson or whatever his name is.
I agree. Yeah.
I don't think they can win it. But if they move, like Jackson's not a bad guy, he just doesn't have it. Whatever Trevor Hoffman had. Yep. Even after Trevor Hoffman lost his fastball and started throwing 90, 91, he was still dominant because it's in your head. I think. Yeah. That closer role. There's something about the mentality behind it that makes you great at it. And this kid doesn't have it. He just doesn't have it.
No, and I wish they would have picked up
Kimbrel,
that
would have been nice, wouldn't it?
Man,
I think that would have sealed it up right there. But having Keuchel has pitched his, he looks really good.
He looks really good. Look, I'm still going with the Cubs on this one, but I think I would say next year my money will be on the Braves with health, obviously, and maybe bringing in one more veteran. We'll see.
Well, hopefully they can keep Donaldson on because he's been a really positive influence in the clubhouse and stuff. Plus, he's starting to rake now.
Yeah. I like Donaldson.
And he's a great defensive third baseman.
Yeah. Like, he's rad. And he's a elite. Fucking gamer.
Yeah.
Like, he's tough as nails, that guy. He's looking good. But, look, I think this is the Yankees to lose this year.
It's going to be, I mean, when that team if
they can get healthy.
If they get healthy, it's going to be rough, man, because there's like 9 guys in that lineup that are going to have 25 or more home runs, and four of them that are 40-plus home run guys. So it's like, holy shit, dude. Although we've seen, and this almost always holds true, great pitching beats great hitting in the playoffs. It's always true. So we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. Look, this Major League Baseball playoffs is going to be lights out this year, and I'm really looking forward to it. I want to ask you about a question that immediately was raised after the Home Run Derby about this was on CNN, so take it for what it's worth out of those fucking shitbags.
Yeah.
But they had an article of how the Braves are exploiting players by signing Acuna to that deal and Albies to that deal. Just because, they're young and from another country and all that other bullshit. What are your thoughts on that?
I think that Acuna and Albies are very smart players. You can tell that they're smart, and they have social media, and there's no way they don't know the kind of money that's out there.
I do too.
I think that they seem like...
Why sign those deals then if you're them?
Because they're best friends, like legit best friends, and they want to stay together and hang out and play baseball together. That's what they care about. They're fucking... I mean, when I say they're simple, I don't mean they're simple-minded. I mean they have simple taste. They just want to fucking hang out and play ball together and play on the same team for as long as fucking possible. That seems to be the case because the Braves on their local broadcast on Fox Sports South have done probably 15 different pieces over the last 2 years about those two guys, and they do everything together. Like literally, they're always together. So
I look at it differently. I'll play devil's advocate on the CNN article. I look at it from a standpoint of they're 20, 21 years old, both of them, right?
Yeah, 20. I think they're both 20. I think.
To me, if you were to get hurt with a really catastrophic injury and have to go back to your fucking country that clearly doesn't give a shit about you, they're not going to pay you that kind of money. Look, at 20 years old, taking $100 million, right, for 10 years. What was it, 10 years for Acuna?
Yep. No, 8.
8.
Yeah, so he'll be in his prime when he comes off of that thing, and he'll get a $400 to $500 million contract.
Probably.
If he's on this trajectory. So who gives a shit about that first 100, dude?
Yeah, and can't you still go to arbitration if you have great years? I don't know the ins and outs of that.
They'll ask to restructure or demand a trade like the people in the NBA do.
Right.
It's no different.
So to me, I think at 20 years old, when you truly don't know what's going to happen in your career, I think you do take that money.
Acuna is 21. Albies is 22.
I think at that young, you do take that money and protect your future in case something happens. And I think that's what happened with the Kawhi Leonard situation where, Jalen Rose is like, no, he's only going to take a 2-year contract with Toronto. Why would you do that?
With Toronto.
Having a catastrophic injury already that took you out for a year.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you take that money and play it safe? If this kind of money, who gives a shit, right? Who gives a shit at this point? And again, like you said, when these deals end for them, they're in their prime. They'll be able to go after the max contracts they could possibly get from people. And for them, if I'm a kid and I'm that age, I'd probably take that money too.
Yeah. No, I would. I mean, Albies is going to be 30 when his contract's done. So the last 2 years are team options. So chances are the team will opt him out and fucking re-sign into a better contract when he's in his 28 season. That'd be my guess. Otherwise, he's going to start demanding a trade. And Acuna being the absolute best player in the league by that point probably because Trout will be a little bit past his prime. I feel like he will have enormous pressure to apply to the Braves organization to pay him. If Albies starts becoming unhappy, and I think they know that too. Like, if they don't, they should. Albies and fucking Acuna have to know they have a lot of power in that organization because of who Acuna is. I think that's probably part of it too, to be honest.
Yeah, I do too. And I think those kids are fine for the future for now. And, again, like you said, you can go in and bitch and your agents can do all that shit. Both of them are going to be superstars. Acuna might be one of the greatest of all time if he's able to keep up this trajectory. So we'll see.
I mean, Albies is a second baseman who's hitting in the high 200s, and he's hitting 25 home runs a year. And he's 22 years old.
I know.
So it's like, I don't know. What's
both
the,
certainly
I don't,
have the opportunity, man.
And they're both very good defensively too. I wonder.
yeah.
I wonder what the ceiling is for
We'll
either
find
one
out.
of those guys.
Speaking of greatest of all time, you, me, and Disgusting Justin got together on Saturday night and watched UFC.
Oof.
Man, that was one of the best cards I've seen in a very, very long time.
It was.
And, you know, look, everybody says John Jones is the greatest of all time. He did not look that great to me. And then after seeing the injury that Santos suffered with the ACL, ACL, MCL, and PCL.
His whole knee is destroyed. Meniscus is torn.
Shattered. I don't even know if he comes back. Maybe in a year and a half.
He's definitely out for, no, it won't be a year and a half. That's like a 6 month. Well, that's a problem.
Each
one of those would be 6 months.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's not 6 on top of 6. But I would say he's definitely done for the rest of this year. There's no question.
Yeah.
I think his trainer announced that. But he, like mid next year, maybe a year out, maybe a year. Because once you become fully healthy, you got to do a camp, right?
Oh, yeah.
Then you have to do your mini and the lead up and that whole thing. So it'll be this time next year at earliest.
And he'll have to take a lesser challenger. Like, you know, he's not going to hop in.
Well, who knows what's going to happen in light
title.
heavy by then, because John Jones has been wrecking that fucking whole division for years now.
He looked beatable for the first time on Saturday night.
He did and he didn't. And here's why I say that. So Santos was one of his, like, early on, it's clear that he was going after that inside leg kick and he was trying to make, like, swell Jones' legs up, which is one of his, like, that for a guy where you can't reach him with your arms because he's got that fucking 84.5-inch reach. What else are you going to do? You got to use your legs, right?
Yeah.
So Jones clearly switched up his stance right after that and started using his left leg to kick down into the knee of Santos. You saw it a bunch of times. Every time that leg kick started to come up, he kicked down into it. And it fucked it. It like destroyed his goddamn knee. Say what you want to about fair play and all that shit, but if a guy's going to try to fucking injure you on the inside of your leg, and that's what fighting is, you're trying to injure the other guy.
Yeah.
If he's trying to do that, then that's the best defense to it, apparently, is to kick down into that leg to stop that from coming up. Just over and over, he's kicking down into that leg. Fucked his leg up and he won without taking any damage.
I know.
So just because he didn't knock the guy out, does that mean? Because that to me is a fucking really smart game plan and it worked.
It is. To me, he's starting to get into the Mayweather aspects of his career where it's a lot of defense. And look, yes, he won smartly. And
without taking any damage.
Without taking any damage, absolutely. And it reminds me of what Mayweather did for years and years and years, where it wasn't the most exciting thing to watch, but it was effective. Yeah. And until somebody can beat him, congratulations.
And John Anik said it too. Like now he's carrying Santos into the fucking championship rounds. Like UFC fighters are used to going 15-minute stops. And once you get into, that fourth round, that's where, stuff starts to become real.
Yeah.
To his credit, Santos is a fucking warrior, man. That guy, his leg was fucked right around round one. As soon as John Jones figured out what he was doing with that inside leg kick, he started hammering Homeboy's knee for the rest of the fight, and he stayed in there and took it, man.
Yeah.
And he still kicked. He still charged after him. I mean, he still looked pretty good.
Man. It was a great performance.
Yeah. I think that
out
guy,
of him, I mean, a ballsy, gutsy performance.
Yeah.
I'm just saying out of John Jones, it wasn't much, especially when you have an opponent hurt that bad. Go in for the knockout and try to fucking,
you have to
do something.
You have to try to take him down or something. Speaking of trying to take people down, this was the best. Ben Askren's been talking all this shit, and he is by all accounts like one of the best grapplers on earth. Like no shit.
Yep.
Rogan's been talking about him. Fucking.
I enjoy the shit.
Brendan Schaub's been talking about him.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing: Masvidal didn't give a fuck about any of that.
No.
This is like his 47th fight, professional fight or some shit. This is like, man, I fought all kinds of different people. I don't give a shit. Plus, he's kind of like before he was fighting professionally, he was fighting people in the backyard bare knuckle.
Hey, what do they call him? Street Jesus? Or?
Yeah. Yeah, so just the same way that Kimbo Slice came up, that's what this dude was doing because he just likes to fight, man. So he doesn't give a shit about getting hit.
No. Well, and that was one of the crazy.
It's the greatest knockout in the history of the UFC.
I agree.
Because of all the hype, and Brendan Schaub was talking about this on his show last night, I think. Because of all the hype, because of all the shit talking, and because the video that got released on I think it was yesterday morning actually, and it was him. It was Masvidal 2 days before that fight practicing that exact move.
You're
like,
kidding.
No, he's like,
I didn't see the video.
He's like waiting for the fight, acting like he's with his sparring partner, and then he kind of does that same thing where he backs up and rope-a-dopes a little bit, and then immediately sprints towards the guy and throws knees into a pad. He was doing that over and over again. He had a plan. This is exactly what he wanted to do.
Wow.
And not only did it work, it was the quickest knockout in UFC history.
Yes, 5 seconds.
But also, I mean, technically, he was knocked out about 2 seconds into that fight. It just got called. It got called in 5 seconds. So I've never seen anything like it. It was amazing.
We were at a bar, and this is what I love about
it erupted.
Live sports.
It was like the World Cup,
and
man. Your team just scored.
Yeah,
dude.
exactly.
Like whoever was a fan of Askren in the ring or in the bar that night, they immediately stopped being his fan and became a fan of Masvidal, who just fucking knocked his ass out.
Everybody jumped up in the air, and every time they showed the replay, that was fun as shit. And I was really, really happy I was in a public environment to celebrate that with everybody. Because, as soon as something like that happens, all you want to do is pick up the phone or call somebody or text somebody and be like, dude, do you fucking see this shit? Holy shit, this is crazy. This is amazing. That was amazing. And then the fight before it.
Nunez might be, she may have a legit argument for the best female fighter in UFC history at this point.
Yeah.
Because she's beaten everybody, right?
Everyone.
I mean, and honestly, I didn't think Holm was ever in that fight, really. Like, she's clearly one of the better kickboxers in the female division ever.
Yeah.
But there's something about Nunez. I don't know if the explosiveness, and Holm was 37 years old, too. That played a role.
Yeah.
Obviously. You could tell that it played a role. You hate to say that because...
I told you before the fight I thought she'd get knocked out in the first round and that she would retire afterwards. I'm surprised she hasn't announced anything yet. Because to me... She's 37, man, and she's taken some brutal knockouts at this point.
Yeah, her bell's been rung a number of times. That's for sure.
I mean, this last one, she had the same thing where she got kicked in the side of the head in a previous fight.
Which is funny because that's how she beat Rousey.
I know.
With that same kick.
Same move.
Yep.
I think for her, man, just pack it up and go home. Like, I felt awful for her after that was over. Where I was just like, ugh. Because she's 37 years old. It's a different sport now.
It is. It's way different, and it works for people like Nunez who are super aggressive.
Yeah.
So here are the last fights for Nunez. Beat Holly Holm, obviously. Beat Cyborg before that. Not a technical knockout. It
destroyed Cyborg.
It was a KO. So the difference between a KO and a TKO. TKO is when fucking Herb Dean comes in there and moves you out of the way and says stop hitting him.
Right.
A KO is where homegirl is knocked the fuck out.
Yeah.
Like Debo is on the ground, brick upside his head, like the whole situation. Valentina Shevchenko was fucking great. She beat Ronda Rousey. She beat Miesha Tate. I mean,
who's left?
There's no one in that division. In the female class, and she's champ, man. She's dominating 2 divisions right now. So it's like, what the fuck? Like,
she's got an argument for best pound for pound fighter in the world.
Maybe, yeah. You have to at least.
It's weird. Like this is a weird one. Like men's and U.S. soccer.
It's just hard to compare those two things.
It is, yeah.
But against the competition that's available,
correct.
She hasn't lost since fucking 2014.
Yeah. I mean, that's crazy.
It's a long ass time. I mean, she hasn't quite reached like the Anderson Silva level yet as far as like dominance in division for that long, but she's getting fucking close. And honestly, I don't see who's going to beat her. She's 31 now. She probably has 2 dominant years left, and then she's going to start to tail off. So she's got, in the end, it will probably be about a 7-year stretch of domination on her part. And that's a long fucking time for any sport where people are trying to injure you on a regular basis. To go and dominate, that's a long fucking time, dude.
It is, yeah.
And she's going to have 2 or 3 more fights in that time period, like major fights.
I know.
And she wins them and retains her belts. She's probably in that conversation for best pound for pound ever at that point, like top 5 at least.
I think so.
Which is
she's
good.
Definitely a
It's good, and people are super amped about that fight too, just like they are for the women's national soccer team. People are getting more and more amped for these women's fights, and that's cool as shit.
I think, and you can thank Ronda Rousey for that because I was one of those who was amped to see Ronda Rousey fight every time.
Yeah, just because of the attitude mostly.
Yeah,
like, I didn't think she was all that dominant. I think the competition was weaker back then. And once people started to show up that knew what they were doing, she got her fucking ass kicked a little bit. But like she's oof.
Yeah.
She really did it for the sport. Like she brought him front and center for sure.
It was great, man. It was really fucking great. I'm amped for that DC Stipe fight. That's
Stipe was in the charity softball game last night. He made a great play at third base.
Yeah. Hit his head.
He did hit his head, but I feel like his head's been hit so many times that he probably didn't notice, really.
Yeah. I got to get in that thing. In 2 years, it'll be in Atlanta.
Yeah, in 2021, Drinking Bros, just know that the Major League Baseball All-Star Game is going to be in Atlanta.
Yep. And
we're going to try hard to get Ross into the charity softball game.
Yes, I need it. I'm a softball messiah.
Yeah.
Great at baseball as a child, as a youth. It was good all the way up through high school, to be honest with you. Different level after that, though, man. Fuck. That's when kids really start heating up. You had a big arm, too, didn't you?
Yeah, I threw in the mid to high 90s when I was a junior.
Did you get recruited a bunch?
Yeah. Yeah, I still remember the guy. He was kind of a creep named Steve Kring. He was a scout for the Reds, and he was always at all my stuff.
No shit.
Yeah. And he had a super high-pitched voice, and he kind of looked like maybe Humpty Dumpty-ish a little bit. Super nice guy, though. He was like, hey, make sure you're, like, doing your stuff and treating your body right because you don't want to end up with a high-pitched voice like me when you're older. I'm like, that's pretty funny. That's pretty funny for a guy to say, honestly, to take the piss out of himself like that. But he was that to me, honestly, if I could do it, being a baseball scout might be the best job on earth.
For you, I think it would be.
Yeah.
Because you get to travel all the time. Yeah. You love baseball more than life itself.
Yep.
And
also,
you get to go it alone, dude. No kids.
My weird-ass autism brain.
Oh, you'd be able to fire through all of that.
Yep.
That'd be the perfect job for you.
It would be great.
Yeah. Me personally, I started, I think the recruitment letters for football started coming around 10th grade. So I stopped playing all the rest of the sports. Try to focus on one.
Yeah.
And then you get to, I remember when I got to senior year, because you get 3 visits by the NCAA, right?
Yep.
For D1. The rest of them you can go and fucking do whatever you want. But I knew I wasn't going to be good enough to be a professional NFL player. So I was like, fuck this. I want to enjoy my life.
For sure. I mean, because people don't realize, they hear these young kids bitching about, and it was part of the whole debate about whether Division I NCAA kids should be getting paid.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're getting free college, you're getting this. Like, look, man, they have a talent, they have a skill that no one else can do. Period. I think, I think the argument for NCAA football players getting paid is stronger than the women's team getting paid more. Honestly, like, those kids should be getting paid. And
I 100% agree.
And the college kids, I honestly think if NCAA basketball wants to continue as a legit competitive organization, they need to become a minor league for the NBA, or they're gonna fucking die.
Yes,
like it's over for them. If the ball kids can prove that you can go somewhere else and play in a private or professional league and develop better, plus not have to deal with that bullshit, like, man, it's over for the NCAA. Why? What makes you, like, me as a parent even? Do I want my kid who is definitely going to play professional basketball? Is it better for him to do 1 year of joke-ass school? Because let's be honest, the classes those kids are taking in their freshman year are bullshit.
Because all you have to do is get through that second semester.
They're taking the easiest shit they can. Yeah. Would you rather them do that or go to a professional league where they're making money in a different country and get that experience? Like, which one rounds you out better as a person? I would say the pro league for sure. Like, that is going to prepare you more for the life you're actually going to live than some bullshit college.
I agree. It's tough. It's tough to say because you're going to have to pick up and move or help out or whatever. Like,
for sure, but
having an
they're going to pay for
in
it.
Another country, 100%. So, yeah,
and there's no bullshit
as a family,
rules.
You'd have to be prepared for that as well. I think you're going to need a few of these cases to come through in the NBA.
Yeah.
For some of these kids to become superstars to have your answer, but I don't think we'll have it now. I also think, this one and done rule will probably be over soon. I don't think this will continue very much longer.
I don't see how, like, to me, it's there. Who's going to sue first? Like, for whatever reason, I still don't understand why, who was it, Mike Smith and Maurice Claret back in the day of 2004?
Yeah, Claret.
When they sued.
For Ohio State. Yeah.
Like, look, dude, if it's the NFL imposing the rule, I get it. But why would you? Like, in the NFL, I get it because kids are bigger and stronger. Like, the difference between college football and pro football is light years away.
Oh, yeah.
But the difference between, like, super competitive NCAA basketball and the NBA is not that much different.
No.
Like a guy like Zion at 18 years old could come into the league and legitimately contribute. Like there's absolutely no question about that. LeBron came in and contributed. Kobe did the same thing.
Kobe, Garnett.
It's the same goddamn thing. And what's the difference between 18 and 19 anyways? It's 1 year, and it's mostly mental development, not
a little more mature,
not physical. So to me, I think it's much better to have a professional league they can play in, even if it's the G League. Like Gatorade's fucking up. Gatorade should be spending all their money trying to lobby the NBA to turn the G League into a legit minor league and fuck college altogether.
I think they are, and I think they're trying.
I hope it happens.
So do I, and we'll see. I know LeVar Ball, the dad, tried to do it.
Yeah, he just doesn't have the clout or the money, and people think he's a jackass.
Yeah, and again, he does not have the money for it.
But if it was a billionaire, if it was like Steve Ballmer and he wasn't the owner of the Clippers yet, and he was like, you know what, fuck this, we're just going to make a league here, a development league, that would work. People would do that. So I don't know.
I think it's close one way or the other. I don't think it lives forever. But we'll see.
Yeah.
Let's take some questions here. We're going to take some live questions. Again, we've got a new YouTube page.
Yeah, I've got one up here.
Subscribe.
Let me see who
I'll fire away first. You ready?
Go ahead.
Nicholas D. Leonardo says, did Rapinoe intend to stomp on the American flag? Did she deserve to get the golden boot when most of her performance was from penalty kicks? I'll answer this first. I don't think it was Rapinoe. I don't think it was Rapinoe or however the fuck you pronounce it.
No, it was Ali Long.
Yeah.
So just to clarify, they were about to do some celebration for the camera, and Ali Long had the flag in her hand, and Rapinoe kind of swatted it away, and Ali Long just dropped it on the ground. Like,
gotcha.
Holy shit, dude. You're representing your country right now. This is why I don't give two fucks about their equal pay argument because of the stats, the data. I think they're wrong. I don't think they deserve more money. Maybe from sponsorships domestically, yes, absolutely, but not from FIFA.
Okay.
But if that's your play, and it is, their play is to make sponsorship dollars domestically. That's their good play. You can't do that by pissing off fucking 50% of the goddamn country, dude.
No, I agree. I saw the footage, and to me, I couldn't tell one way or another if she was getting pulled for press or whatever it is. I mean, the only pass that I'll give, if this was what happened, because I genuinely don't know, is after all this shit is over, there's a million publicists and press pulling you to do shit, and I don't know how much these women know about the American flag or whatever. So I lean towards more so giving them a pass because I don't know. It didn't seem like the intent of like, fuck you, and I'm going to rip this out and stomp it on the ground. So I'm not sure. I don't know. I'm sure it'll come up in an interview, though, for sure, when these girls do that ticker tape parade. Yeah. So somebody will answer that question, and it will be one of them. I can promise you that. On your second question, did she deserve to win the golden boot when most of her performance was from penalty kicks? That's a great one, man. That's actually a really great question because I would have leaned more towards Morgan.
Yeah, I agree.
Simply
but
for the fact of, you're right, taking penalty kicks, not that it's the easiest thing in the world. It's not a free throw.
It's a high stress situation. For sure.
Yes, and it's not a free throw where nobody's trying to block it. But I think there is a legitimate argument for her getting it over Morgan on this team, and I probably would have leaned toward Morgan getting it. Next question: if the MLB home runs die off next year, is that an admission of guilt with respect to juicing the balls? What they're talking about in this one was Justin Verlander, saying that the Major League Baseball owns Rawlings, right?
Yeah.
And that they are intentionally juicing the ball to get people to come to the ballpark and to get higher ratings. You had a really interesting debate about this last night when we were watching the Home Run Derby.
It's not even a debate. They're just
not at all.
They're not juicing the ball. Technology is getting better.
Yeah, and explain this to the audience, because once you explain it to me, it made more sense.
Yeah.
The only question go ahead, and then I'll tell you my only question afterwards.
So just to clarify, the woman who picked, I want to give her a shout out because I appreciate what she did. It was O'Hara who ran up and picked that flag up off the ground immediately when she saw it on the ground. Okay. So clearly somebody fucking had
the wherewithal.
Say, hey. Like, look, the flag. You have to understand, and that made me mad too, but you also have to understand that people don't have the same life experience you do, and maybe that flag to some affluent white woman who's lived her whole
21
life.
years old or whatever.
Like she's been probably affluent her entire life. It probably doesn't mean the same thing to her as it does to people who have had friends and family members or themselves serve in the military or as first responders or whatever. Doesn't excuse it by any stretch. So still, fuck them for doing that. Honestly, that makes me furious that they did that.
100%. And again, if that was the case and that was their fucking intent, yes, by all means.
I don't really care if there was. I don't care if it was their intent or not. Honestly, get fucked. Like, look, man, it's the flag. You don't throw it on the ground. Everyone knows that. No one doesn't know that that's the case.
One would imagine.
Yeah.
One would imagine.
At any rate.
I would have to see it because I didn't see the footage of that particular incident.
Yeah.
I saw the swiping of the hand thing by Rapinoe,
yeah.
but I didn't see the footage you were talking about, so I genuinely can't answer that one.
At any rate, back to the baseball thing. So we actually talked about this on the show recently when we were talking about physics, right?
Yep.
So, and I think I was talking about how the earth spins and that whole shit. Same thing with the baseball. I don't have an example here. But inside the baseball, there's a rubber pill, and it's about, I don't know, it's small. It's like that big. Or it's about that big. The reason that balls are jumping now, and Manfred said this on some ESPN broadcast about 2 weeks ago, I think, during a baseball game. Excuse me. The reason that the ball is jumping is because that pill is now more perfectly round and it's more perfectly centered inside the ball, which means when that ball is traveling through the air, God damn it, I can't remember the name. Yeah, the center of gravity is more perfect than it was before. There's less wobble in the ball and thus less drag. That's like basic physics.
Right.
So of course the ball is jumping more. Now, I can't say whether or not Major League Baseball asked Rawlings to do that, or if now they'll ask him to back it off a little bit. I don't know. But it's like if you're one of the engineers at Rawlings, you want to make the most perfect baseball you can, right? And
yes.
That means a perfectly centered center of gravity. And this is the result. Like balls are getting crushed.
And look, to that point, because once you said it, I was like, oh, well, that makes more sense. I don't know if Justin Verlander is informed on that because I wasn't.
Yeah,
I didn't know this story.
I don't think most people know that. Like,
no.
Most people don't think of physics as a casual hobby, to be honest, right? Like, you should know that the flag doesn't touch the ground, and you should certainly not throw it on the goddamn ground. I don't know how many people understand the concept of wobble. Like because it's the same thing with even on a planetary level, it makes a difference. So
well, once you said it, it made complete sense.
Yeah, but still, you got to have an opinion about it, right?
Yeah. Because the only question I have about it is, if you're Manfred, right?
Yeah.
Who's the commissioner of MLB? Did you know this going in? Did you consult with somebody beforehand and say, hey, how do we get the ball to go faster, jump a little more off the bat by creating better technology?
Yeah.
And if that's the case, why didn't you do it years ago?
It seems super obvious. Like, if I'm an engineer at Rawlings.
Yeah. Once you broke it down last night, it seems so obvious to me that I didn't understand why this wasn't done previously.
Because if you're an engineer, like this information is not new. The idea of something, these are like Newtonian physics from way back in the day, that the tighter the center of gravity is, the less wobble there'll be, the less drag, right?
Right.
That's like super basic stuff. You would think that the first thing the baseball engineer would have thought of is to do that. Maybe they found a better way to do it. Like, they knew they should do it, but they just found a better way, and that's breaking technology. That's very possible too. So we don't know.
We don't.
And the thing I wonder about is it better for the game to have that happen? I would say absolutely yes.
Same, yeah. And as a fan, it is too. I want to see more home runs and all that stuff. I don't show up to the ballpark because of who's pitching that night.
No. Well,
maybe one guy for me, and that's Clayton Kershaw.
Yeah.
When I was in LA, if Kershaw was pitching, I'd try to make my way out because I've always wanted to see a no-hitter in person.
Yeah.
But he's about the only dude I show up for to see the pitcher.
Yeah. But here's the thing. What works for the goose, or what's good for the goose, is good for the gander, right?
Yeah.
It's the pitchers have a distinct advantage now too. That slider is going to spin tighter. There's going to be less wobble in it. It should break more crisply. Same thing with the curveball. And their fastball should go straighter when they're throwing a 4-seam fastball. It should be able to locate better, right? It works. It works for both people. Yeah, there are going to be more home runs. Absolutely. There are going to be more harder hit balls. But the pitcher has an advantage too because the ball's going exactly where he wants for the most part, or at least if you're a good pitcher. So Charlie Morton's got a 2.32 ERA. Mike Minor, old Braves guy in Texas, has got a 2.54 ERA. Verlander's got a 2.98 ERA. I don't know what he's complaining about. Ryu from the Dodgers has a 1.73. Castillo's 2.29, and Scherzer's 2.30. Greinke's 2.73. Cole Hamels is 2.92 or 2.98. Like, when's the last time you had 5 guys in a single league with sub 3 ERAs, the starting pitchers? Like, that doesn't happen that much.
No,
honestly. Like, there are tight races for the fucking and Kirby Yates has 30 fucking saves already. Chapman's got 24. Like, come on, man. I think it's an interesting debate to have, but if Verlander's bitching about it, like, I don't get that.
He's a pitcher, and as a pitcher, like, his home runs given up this year has gone up. And
he's also on pace for 18 wins right now and a 2.30 ERA or some shit.
He's still pissed off about it. So
sorry, bro.
As a pitcher, I understand it. Next question, Seth Morton. Are we ready for some college motherfucking football? Yes, we are. Can we at least get you and Dan's way too early national championship game prediction? We're not going to give the championship game, but our winner we can give right now. Because I think this is anybody. And again, if you're betting with us or against us on mybookie.com, some of these odds are already up for the national champion of next year. Mm-hmm. I would be really hard pressed to tell you to bet against Clemson with that team coming back in that quarterback.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, that kid's going to be a superstar. And they have an easy fucking schedule.
They have an easy schedule. Their offense is intact. The defense is going to be shaken up a little bit because they lost major guys, but it looks like they just reloaded, to be honest.
But I do have some sleeper teams, and I do have some surprises this year. So next month, August, the first week of August is when we do our college football show.
Yep.
So tune in for that one because that's where we dedicate the entire
and preseason rankings will be out then.
Yeah, all of it, and we dedicate the entire show to that. Next question, Dan, you can answer this. This is a great question. When is NASCAR going to shut it down? Because it kind of seems like it's coming. On the marketing side, you've dealt with NASCAR a lot behind the scenes.
Yep.
What's the real story with what's going on with NASCAR?
I'm not going to tell you which place it was, but we were kicking around a title sponsorship for a racetrack, and it was going to be. And this is not one of the bigger ones, obviously, but we could have gotten it for somewhere around $500,000 a year for a title sponsorship for a racetrack.
Really?
Which means every event that's there would have been called the Black Rifle this or the Black Rifle that.
No shit.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it's like, man, that's bad. That's not good. And I know just generally from talking to them that they're having a hard time getting millennials to watch because nobody gives a fuck about cars going in a circle anymore. Like, you have to do something more than that. Or you have to have personalities or something. That's why they're pushing this, what's his name, Bubba Watson? Not Watson.
Hey,
what's his name?
You're talking to the wrong guy about NASCAR. There is one sport that I stopped watching after Dale Jr. left.
Bubba Wallace. He's like a 25-year-old black kid from Alabama. Super good driver.
He's great, but I stopped watching and stopped caring when Dale Jr. left.
Yeah.
To me, that sport to me was about personalities. Or dominance, one or the other. I watched when Jimmy Johnson was crushing everybody too. And who was before that? The Rainbow Warrior.
Jeff Gordon.
Yes.
Yeah.
I watched those.
Yep.
I watched those guys. Right now, there is no dominant figure who's winning every single race. And there's nobody with a fucking personality that I give a shit about.
No.
Who's the guy that killed somebody too?
What?
He ran over him on the track.
Tony Stewart?
Yes.
Yeah.
Tony Stewart was a big personality.
You said that like you did it on purpose. He didn't. It was an accident, supposedly.
I watched the footage of that one.
I've seen it.
I think he wanted to hit the kid. I didn't think he meant to kill him, but he killed him regardless.
Yeah, he was kind of a dick.
Look at the stateside kill. We've always known that I wanted to murder. I'm with him, not against him. Dude got out of his fucking car on a track and he shouldn't have.
Yeah, don't do that, by the way.
No, ever on a racetrack. But again, big personality out of Tony Stewart. He left. Dale Jr. is gone. I don't know how they recover. And you're right with millennials. Like, dude, they don't give a shit about NASCAR.
No.
They also don't give a shit about motorcycles. And the motorcycle industry is down
No,
as
the
well.
whole thing, I don't know what, and that makes what Red Bull is going to do over the next couple of years super interesting because they've kind of pulled back from a lot of the stuff. They're still doing X Games and stuff like that, but they're going more with individual influencers instead of leagues and shit now. And I don't know if that's – I honestly don't know what it's about, but I assume just from a marketing perspective that it's about that. It's about not being involved in stuff that you don't think is going to be successful. Because you don't want to be – like there was I don't remember who owned it, but there was a rally car – league or some shit. Then it just like folded immediately. So we'll see. There's still cool dudes out like Steve Arpin, JT's friend, is still out there doing it. The rally car stuff. There's still a market for it for sure.
There is. It's just getting smaller and smaller, and it's harder to get sponsorships. Like we've talked to a lot of those guys behind the scenes, and it's it's a fight, man. It's expensive.
It is very expensive. Yeah. I think Arpin said on the show that you pretty much got to be rich to do this shit.
Yeah.
Which is fine if you can make the money back, but they're having problems. Like, I don't know who they have running the marketing for those organizations. Like, honestly, I don't. I'm saying I don't know, not in a dickish way. I just don't know what their plan is because I don't see a plan.
Me neither.
We'll see, I guess.
Yeah, I don't see what's going to happen. Cody Foister. I like Cody Foister though a lot. He says the Lakers are better off without Kawhi. Do you agree with that? I do not, me personally. I think if Kawhi goes there, they win for years to come. I think that team is pretty much.
I don't know. It's the
Kawhi,
same. It's the
AD,
same,
and LeBron.
Yeah. No, I got it, but it's the same argument. Well, two of those guys play the same position, so like, how do you do that? Obviously, their solution right now is to with Kuzma moving down from the 4 to the 3 is to move LeBron to point guard, but
which they've done.
Yeah. But that's on paper. That still doesn't solve the problem of who does what on the court. Like, LeBron definitely would have been the ball handler for the most part on that team. But in that situation, I don't see how it works with those three, to be honest. Like, just thinking about the way the three of them play, none of them are like hardcore isolation guys like we used to see back in the day, like Kobe. None of them are like Kobe.
Right.
Like, a big part of LeBron's game is distributing the ball for sure. But a big part of AD's game is not moving without the ball necessarily, and the same thing with Kawhi. They're both like high post guys for the most part.
Yeah.
And a lot of the way they play their game. So how does that gel with a guy who's a dominant ball handler that likes to penetrate? Because he's not going to be kicking the ball out. There's no version of the Lakers with those three guys where he's kicking the ball out for those guys for open threes. That's just not that doesn't make sense to me.
I think it saves me personally. I think it saves LeBron's body. I think you put him down to 60 games a year.
That for sure, yeah.
Bench him half of those games. Kawhi is a great defensive player.
Yep.
And he can fit into Toronto.
He'll do anything. He doesn't care.
So me personally, I think they would have been better with him and made multiple championship runs.
Probably. I think they're still going to do that, to be honest.
I do too, and
I think they're going to win the next 2 or 3 championships.
I also think you don't necessarily need LeBron. Getting AD in his prime forever is still great. So either way, the Lakers had a great offseason, and they're going to be competing for a title, and that's pretty much all you can ask for.
Have we heard anything about Iguodala yet? I know, like, they're looking to trade him.
Well, they got to buy him out first. So I think they're working on a buyout.
Are they going to buy him out or just straight up sign and trade or trade? Or
I
what?
heard buyout, and then so that Memphis can save some money, and then he'll sign with somebody else. Cody, follow-up question. Westbrook to the Knicks. The owner needs to be removed. I thought about that as well, man. The Knicks struck out the entire offseason.
Like, how much power does the rest of the league have? I know the other owners can vote to get rid of an owner. For sure, because they did that with that knucklehead and with the Clippers.
But I think it's got to be something morality-wise. Yeah.
It can't just be like, hey, you're fucking up the franchise.
You're shitty at your job, yeah.
And Dolan and those guys aren't running out of money anytime soon. So I don't know what the solution there is. If you're a Knicks fan, I can tell you what the solution is. It's to become a Brooklyn Nets fan, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, you can't – it's one thing if your team sucks and they just – bad things happen, an injury happens, and you don't win or whatever the fuck. But it's another thing to be in the biggest TV market in the world and put on a fucking shitty show. And that's what they've been doing for the past forever. They've been making terrible decisions, like forever. Since the fucking mid-2000s when they brought Stoudemire over against the wishes of their own fucking medical team. Like, Dude, it's been fucking over a decade now where you've just been fucking up. It's a comedy of errors at this point. And I don't know, like, I understand the idea of loyalty to your team. I've been a Braves fan since I was a child. But at some point you got to say, man, like, I stayed a Braves fan through all their, they won a lot of fucking Western and then Eastern division titles. And they won one World Series, making the playoffs 14 straight years. They won one World Series.
Yeah.
I stayed a fan that whole time. I'm still a fan to this day, and I will always be a fan. Unless, for no reason, they just ship out other players and make incompetent move after incompetent move. At some point, you got to say, man, fuck this. Like, people get emotionally involved in sports, and you're just asking for some mental health problems if you're a Knicks fan at this point, right? Like, go look at Steve Rappaport's feed anytime. He may fucking go crazy.
Michael Rappaport?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
This might be the end for him.
Yeah.
Like, he's
Michael
losing
Rappaport
his mind.
might lose his fucking shit, along with the rest of the Knicks fans, Spike Lee and those guys. Yeah, I was thinking about the Westbrook thing as well. I don't know why you wouldn't do it, to be honest with you, just to put asses in the seats. That's one guy who was kind of like Carmelo Anthony in a way that they scored a lot, they shot a lot, and they were the only reason that people were going to the Garden.
Yeah.
If you're just trying to sell seats and jerseys and all that shit, I would have gone after Westbrook too. I don't know why they don't.
Maybe they are. Who knows?
And they have money.
Yeah.
They have plenty of fucking money in cap space.
Maybe they are, but I don't think if you're Westbrook, you probably don't want to go there.
I don't know what they could possibly give up, though, is the question, because I think they gave up most of their assets. So we'll see. Look, if you want to say, hey, let's give up on Barrett this early,
I doubt
that
they'll
would be
do
a
that.
stretch. So I don't know. Next question, Noah Paitas. Big fan of that last name. Do you think Mac McClung will ever make it to the NBA? You know, it's a great question. There's always the great white hope out there. And to me, he reminds me of Jimmer Fredette. And I would have said Jimmer Fredette. Look, he's playing in a summer league right now. Jimmer is.
I honestly
for the Warriors,
thought
actually.
I thought Jimmer Fredette would end up on a team like the Warriors that values 3-point shooting and just run a guy out there that can't do anything else.
Yep.
But
he is currently on their summer team roster. That's who Mac McClung reminds me of. So we'll see. But then you also got this Tyler Herro down in Miami from Kentucky, who's absolutely lighting it up in summer league ball right now. Who's a lot like Mac McClung, another white kid who's scrappy and
the problem with
McClung,
McClung,
a great shooter. So we'll see.
McClung's not a great shooter, though. Really, I mean, he shot like 30% from three in college. That's not great.
It's not terrible. He's still playing.
It's like 27.7%.
Yeah.
That's
so,
like,
look, he scored 24 in this summer league game. So we'll see.
We'll see what happens. I mean, he's small. He's 6'2".
Yeah, we'll see. I would tend to lean toward no, probably.
Yeah.
Long story short here. Let's see. Next question. Craig Dulesky. Ross isn't a fan of bowling, are you? Yes, I am, actually. I like bowling. They're trying to spice it up. Have you watched them on ESPN?
Yeah. They're trying to develop personalities, which is smart. Honestly, it's what NASCAR's not been able to do.
And they're letting the crowd go ballistic.
Yeah.
They're letting all the rules go, essentially, of bowling to create fun bowling. And so far, it seems the players have embraced it. But I remember when PDW was playing, Pete Weber, giving the crotch chops and all that shit.
Yeah.
That's where Danny McBride got it for Eastbound and Down. And he was entertaining as shit. And there was a period where people were watching bowling for a couple years because of him, and it was awesome.
Yeah.
The problem with bowling is it's so fucking hard to be the best at it over and over and over again, because people can come in and bowl 290 or two. Anybody can luck in with a good game. It's not like you're playing 10 games apiece, best out of 10. You can lose on one game, and then your best guy is out of it, and I think that's what hurts bowling. But it was fun when he was playing, and I enjoyed it. So,
yeah, it is. It's something. I don't think it'll ever really work mainstream, because nobody cares about that. Like the ultimate goal for a sports league like that is to have people wearing a Pete Weber jersey while they go out and bowl, or when they're sitting around watching bowling. But 100%. That's just not going to happen.
No, it's just the way the sport is designed and the number wise, and it's too hard to have a great guy.
That's why there will never be a professional lacrosse team. I mean, there are professional lacrosse leagues, but there will never be like a super successful league.
Right.
Whatever.
Yeah. After the Ruben Schneider, after the triumphant Joey Chestnut on the 4th, are you going to make a Dogfather T-shirt? Man, I'd love to. I'd love to have Joey Chestnut on the show.
Yeah, he's an interesting guy.
Yeah, oh yeah. After we watched that 30 for 30 together, and it was fucking hilarious. If you joined us live to watch the hot dog eating contest, that was really, really fucking funny.
Yeah, it was.
But look, having Chestnut on would be a dream. We would love to do it. Making Dogfather shirts would be another reason. If Jared was still on the show, I would say yes, 100%.
I think he would do it.
Oh yeah, I think he would too.
But I mean, I don't know. We've talked about this. Jared's he's not a volume eater. It's more like speed in a very short term.
Yeah, if you put him at 2 minutes.
But it would be funny to do like some commercials with him or something.
Oh yeah, it'd be great.
Because he seems like a guy that kind of gets it. He's like, this is all bullshit. I can't believe he was embarrassed to say that he made $100,000 a year
professionally eating.
He's like, it's kind of embarrassing to say this, but yeah, I make like 6 figures a year doing this. Like, so I think a guy like that understands how ridiculous life is, would be like, I bet he's got a great sense of humor. I really do think he does.
Yeah, I do too.
So we should definitely try to get him on the show.
It'd be great to have Chestnut on the show. We love it. Again, subscribe on YouTube. We'll be doing this live pretty much every week, and we'll answer your questions at the end of the show. Ross Patterson Revolution podcast and Drinkin' Bros podcast has combined for the media company, and we're going off of the same feed. So follow us. We'll try to set up an exact time to do the show on Tuesday, so that way everybody can get in on it. Otherwise, you'll be getting the same audio show on all your shit at night. And thanks for staying with us. D'Anthony, this was fun.
Yeah.
I like the new format. I love the new studio.
Yeah, it's cool.
And it's good to hear from everybody.
Backslap Ninja asked if we talked about the World Cup yet. Yeah, we did, but you can hear it on the audio show, or we'll be posting this video show, right?
Correct. As soon as we go off air.
Yeah, as soon as we go off air, you'll be able to check it out.
Yep. So check us out everywhere, and subscribe on YouTube. For D'Anthony Holloway, I am Ross Patterson. This is the DB Sports Companion Show. See you later, everybody.